Hey, welcome to Jimmy's Records and Tapes. This episode talking about my 5 favorite songs that are hidden in the treasure chest.
We've got it on vinyl, CD and cassette.
We've got pop, rock, heavy metal, punk, funk, rap, and new wave. All sales are vinyl, but you'll never regret all the music you get at Jimmy's Records and Tapes.
I'm loving music again. Hey, welcome into the record store, specifically Jimmy's Records and Tapes. I've opened up a store. I got a storefront, and I welcome all that come in. The vinyl is selling, guys. The vinyl, the used vinyl, the new vinyl, colored vinyl, everything's doing great. We're doing great with vinyl. The cassettes are just sitting there collecting dust. And the CDs are, you know what? They're getting a little dusty too. Although we still got the guys that go, it always sounds better on CD than vinyl. And I'll fight that to my grave. Until I put on a CD and I go, you know what, this does sound a little crisper than the vinyl, but I like the warmth. It's about the warmth, isn't it? Oh, it is, sir. My buddy Dave Holmes and I always joke about how 80s on 8 on Sirius XM will do, here's another song from the treasure chest. And it's a song that you've heard a million times, a fascination by Human League. It's like, that's not from that was a hit. That's not a treasure. So these are 5 albums that I really believe are in the treasure chest that not everybody knows about. And if you know about them, don't write, hey, everybody knows that album. Yeah, fine. Write me and tell me that, fine. But these are my 5 albums that I think are in the treasure chest that need to be unearthed. I need to go out. I need to give everybody a map that X will certainly mark that spot. And we go out there, we dig it up, we find the chest, and we open it up. And instead of gold and diamonds and other baubles, there's these 5 albums. And then you go, really? I drove through the desert to find this and it's 5 albums? I don't have a turntable with me. I know. Number 5, Cactus World News. Their Urban Beaches album from 1986. They're a band out of Dublin. Just another band out of Dublin. That's me doing a line from a Boston song. I first heard them. They did their song State of Emergency showed up on an episode of Miami Vice. And I said, what is this haunting song? Which is a word I use way too much to describe songs, by the way. But I was like, man, this is a great song. They sound a little U2-ish. But how could they not? They're just another band out of Dublin. Is U2 out of Dublin? I don't know. Didn't fact check. Just talking. Point is, they're both from Ireland. Yeah, you go to Ireland. Not this guy. That guy doesn't show up there because that didn't sound anything like an Irish accent. I don't do accents. You know that. I like this band. The whole album's really good. Worlds Apart's a great song. The Bridge is a great song. But I think State of Emergency is an 80s classic that, man, I don't know why it didn't get the more airplay. I'm sure some college radio played the heck out of it, but otherwise, I think this thing should have been a hit. And it certainly made that scene in Miami Vice sing. So much so that I paused this was a phase where I was watching Miami Vice every night, courtesy of DVDs, digital versatile discs. Every night, I would watch Miami Vice and eat a bowl of grapes. In my head, I was thinking, well, this is healthy. I'm eating grapes, not knowing that I'm just basically eating little balls of sugar. That's all I was doing to help the medicine go down. And I gained upwards of 4,000 pounds while I was sitting there. And I was like, hey, this is great. This is Miami Vice. And then this song came on, and I was like, good stuff. Number 5 is Cactus World News, Urban Beaches. And according to my card here, number 5 is also this band. I don't know why there's 2 5s on there. I guess at the end of the day, Cactus World News is 6 then, and let's call this 5. This is my top 6 in the treasure chest. Somebody doesn't know how to count, and somebody doesn't know how to print. Somebody doesn't know how to proofread. How hard is it to count to 5, you jackass? Number 6, Cactus World News, Urban Beaches. So here's the actual number 5. Band out of Chicago. Just a band out of Chicago. Nope, doesn't work. Band called Wild Blue. The album's called No More Jinx. It's from 1986. A woman on vocals by the name of Renee Varro. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Joe Zanona. And a band called Trillion, a guy from that band called Frank Barbalace. Ken Hark from Off-Broadway was on drums. The band was originally called Jinx, and they would play around Chicago all the time. But it was kind of before I was allowed to go into bars. And I would ride my bike, or when I got a car, I would drive to a nightclub called Harlow's, which was then, I believe, called Haywires. And it was in Burbank, Illinois. on Cicero Avenue, like 87th and Cicero, maybe. If I'm getting the streets wrong, I apologize to my South Side guy. Hey, Jim, I think it's actually closer to 79th. Again, I don't know. I'm just kind of talking off the top of my head. I'm just going by memory. Yeah, I don't think it's close to 87th, Jim. I think it's closer to where Tops is, or the Toys R Us, or that sort of thing. Hey, remember that Tops Carnival? That was a good time. I do remember Tops Carnival. We go there all the time as a kid. Yeah, that was good stuff, Jim. You go there and get a corn dog and a beer. I was a kid. I didn't get a beer. Yeah, you had a corn dog, though, didn't you, Jim? I would go, again, ride my bike or drive my car, and then just stand either at the back door or at the front door, and I would listen to the bands through the door. And Jinx was one of those bands, and I thought they were fantastic. I thought they were great. Other bands that would be there would be Pez Band, M&R Rush, the Griff Band, which my cousin Mark was in for a short period of time, The Kind, a band called The Kings, who had an album out called The Kings Are Here that WLS played the heck out of. They had the song, was kind of a double A side rather, called The Beat Goes On / Switching the Glide. Switching the Glide, the beat goes on, the beat goes. Great songs. Bands that were always advertised on that, there'd be a great commercial. I don't know if it was nationwide or if it was just Chicago, but there was a production company called Star Beats, and they would do commercials. Star Beats presents What's Happening, and then a great drum. This week at Harlow's, it's going to be Jinx, and along with Pez Band and M&R Rush. Oh, it was great. And then Shots over at Dirty Mary's, half off, that sort of thing. Jinx changed their name to Wild Blue. The name of the album is No More Jinx, a little nod to their former band. 1986, great songs on this thing. Only You, Fire with Fire, When I Think of You. This woman, Renee Varro's got a great voice. The songs are great pop rock, great stuff. I've done a search on the World Wide Web to try to find out what these people are doing today. I have no clue. I got no clue, man, but they're great. Number 4, very quick. I'm wearing the man's shirt. Peter Frampton, 1981. It's his 7th album. It's called Breaking All the Rules. I think the title track may be his best song ever. I believe this is one of the albums that Peter is not a huge fan of, but I spin this long play on a regular basis. I think it's great. I like Peter Frampton a lot. Big fan of Frampton. Yeah, that's it. Love him. Number 3, Alison Moyet's Elf album from 1984. This is her debut solo album after she left Yaz. It's got gut-wrenching love songs on this thing. Both upbeat, which is weird to do, an upbeat love or longing song, and then the ballads. Alison's got just an amazing voice. Just Love Resurrection, All Cried Out, Invisible. These are great songs. My buddy Daver, who does the theme song for my award-winning podcast, Number Not Funny, he and I, when we were working in the record business, CBS Records was having a private party to meet Alison Moyet. And unbeknownst to us, she then stood by a piano, almost like a cabaret. And she did songs off this album, as well as, I will never remember what Yaz song she played, but I think she did one Yaz song. But I was sitting, just like I sat at the table that was right next to the piano, thinking the piano was just a prop, and I was within arm's length of Alison Moyet belting out these songs, and man, you could feel the goosebumps across the nation. That sounded sarcastic. It wasn't meant to be. It was great, and she's great. I saw her recently, pre-pandemic, I saw her here in Los Angeles. I also like, what was great about that is she doesn't suffer fools. And people in the audience, while she was explaining this next song, but like the origin of songs, people were talking, and she would go, and I would tell you more about it if you would shut the F up. And she would just yell at people, which as a stand-up, I loved. Number 3, Elf by Alison Moyet. Great album. Number 2, After Hair Through Midland by a band called Cock Robin. It's a duo of Peter Kingsbury and Anna Locasio. Now he has Coralie Villeneman on vocal, but originally it was this Anna woman, and the two of them, they would trade off lead vocals. Their first album is great, by the way. This is their second album. This is Cock Robin's second album, After Hair Through Midland. Their first album, which is self-titled, is fantastic. When Your Heart Is Weak is a great song. The Promise You Made, Born with Teeth, great songs. But the second album, to me, a little more mature. The band Cock Robin, her vocals are great on it, so are Peter's. Great songs, Just Around the Corner, Biggest Fool of All, which has one of my favorite lines of a song of all time. Foolish is the prisoner who listens for the jangling keys. What a great song. It's a reference to a person that wants their lover to come back. And it's foolish is the prisoner who listens for the jangling keys. Peter, if you see this, please know that I think of that lyric on a daily basis. I love this band, Cock Robin. I think they would have been bigger here in the States if they had not had the name Cock Robin. I think that might have kept them off radio a little bit. I think because the childish nature of the 14-year-old boy or girl that listens to radio, if you got cock in your name, maybe it's not going to get as much play. Also, we don't really know the bird cock robin very much here in the States. We don't go, hey, take a look at that. There's a cock robin. We don't say it. So I think that might have hurt them a little bit. A gentleman by the name of Tristan Bowden toured with them. He was the drummer with them. He was also the drummer. You might know his drumming from Kenny Loggins' Footloose. He's on that album. He was in a band called Honk, and then he was in the band Chicago for a short period of time. When I had the pleasure of meeting him, and I said, hey, I wanted to talk to you. I saw you a long time ago when you were touring with Cock Robin. And I said, what was that like? And he goes, you know Anna. You know how that could be. I was like, no, I do not. I do not know Anna. I don't know how that could be. And that reminds me of when I met Willie Ames of 8 Is Enough fame at a World of Wheels in Chicago, and I waited in line to meet him and get his autograph. And I, as a child, don't know what to say to a famous person. So I chose to say to the 8 Is Enough star, hey, what's it like working with Dick Van Patten? And he goes, yeah, you know Dick, he's so off the wall. And I don't know that. I don't know that. I have not spent 1 second with Dick Van Patten. And he just recently passed away, so I never will. Number 2, Cock Robin, After Here Through Midland. And number 1 is a band that I, for a little while on my award-winning podcast, Number Not Funny, could not shut up about. A band called Ondine. And this is a twofer, because I kind of discovered them again at the same time. They're self-titled, which came out in 1994, and their album Glitter Boy, which came out in 1996. I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in the mid-'80s, late 80s. I'm not going to date myself that much. It was the late 80s. And I had a roommate named Nancy, and she was dating a guy who was in another class named Luca Sarchetti. And he was gorgeous. He was a good-looking guy, and he just oozed cool. And he was a very good actor, and he said he wanted to be a musician. And then years later, Nancy and I reconnected. After the academy, I moved back to Chicago. She went back to Texas. We both then ended up living back here again in Los Angeles. And we reconnected and started hanging out as friends. And she said she ended up marrying Luca, this guy that she dated. She ended up marrying him. And she said, hey, Luca's band is playing. Do you want to go see Luca's band? They're in town playing. This was after they broke up. And I said, I can't go. And she's like, well, here's the CD. I think you'll like them. And I listened to it once, and probably Drunken Jimmy was like, nah, you know what, not for me. And then years later, as I was trying to clean out my CD collection, pare it down, I was like, let me listen to this Ondine. And I was like, this may be in my top 5 favorite albums of all time. Their first album's an EP, so I guess it's not an album, Jim, it's more of an EP. It's great. Their second album, Glitter Boy, is fantastic. I will say this, Luca, if you're listening to this, or I'll tell you, you may be one of the best lyricists of all time, in my opinion. These songs are just amazing. I suggest you listen to it. I wish we could play it here on the show for you so that you could see why I'm so jazzed about it. So there it is. My number 1 song hidden in the treasure chest is a twofer from Ondine, the EP from 94, and Glitter Boy from 96. Hey, it's time for this week's Jimmy's Choice. You know how to get these to me. fanclub@jimmypardo.com, hashtag on Blue Sky. You send me 2 artists, 2 bands, 2 concepts, which this one is, and I decide at the moment which one I think leaves the Thunderdome. This comes to us from @TheNewTypeRay, and it's performance music videos or music videos with a plot. That's a fun little choice there. I think in the 80s, when MTV was a big thing, I loved the videos that had a plot, because I kind of felt like I could see them live anytime, right? Or not anytime. Who am I, Mr. Concert Goer? Turns out I was, but as a kid, I certainly was not. But so I was like, well, that's just them playing live. So I kind of like seeing them. Oh, look at he's a maitre d', or oh, he's a valet. These are fun things to see Peter Cetera in an apron. So I kind of dug the plot. But then as I got older, I was like, ooh, I'm kind of embarrassed. Like the acting's kind of bad, although some of the acting's pretty good. But to see, why is Duran Duran on a boat? You know what I mean? Why do I got to see that? So I think at the end of the day, in this year that we're in, this year of our Lord, if I had to make a choice, and I know New Type Ray wants me to, that's the premise of Jimmy's Choice, I'm going to go, because I know this is weird, I think I'm going to flip-flop from when I was a kid. I think I like live performance because and I know they're not live performance. I know it's all staged. You know what? I'm going to flip-flop even in my own flip-flop. Videos with a plot. Done. Done and dusted. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Jimmy's Records and Tapes. If you liked it, subscribe. Clang the bell. Tell your buddies about it. Gather them around the campfire and tell them all about me and this program. We have a Spotify playlist. Go check that out. Just search for Jimmy's Records and Tapes. Of course, follow me on Blue Sky at jimmypardo.com. And please, I'm begging you from the bottom of all that is sacred. Is that a thing? Listen to my award-winning podcast, Never Not Funny. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, the record is back in the sleeve. Done and dusted.